Hello friends, welcome. Today is Saturday, September 10th, and we're already well into September. Kids are back to school. The commute to work is more difficult because of school buses and school zones being active. Life goes on. And it's hard to believe it's the middle of September, or, well, not quite the middle, but getting close to the middle of September already. Especially because the weather right now is unbelievably hot and humid, and that's why I'm back hiding inside. Yeah, we actually are having weather right now that I think is warmer than parts of August, where that's okay. We'll take it. The snow will be here soon enough. And speaking of snow, if you saw my video last week, I was visiting my family up in northern Vermont for about a week. My dad, along with my brother and sister, live up there fairly close to the Canadian border. So it's really far north. It's a rather rural area. Beautiful scenery. If you saw the video, I was able to show you a little bit of that. And I just had a great time. Didn't do anything significant, just kind of hung out with the family and ate a lot and enjoyed the time off. So it was a really good time. Great and beautiful place to just kind of recharge the batteries for a little bit. And now that I'm back, it's good to be back and getting back into the swing of things. So I hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend and spent some time with your friends and family and just took advantage of it. So today I've got a couple things I want to talk about. I mean, first off, what I'm smoking here is a rather old, basically basket pipe that I picked up at a tinderbox, and it's got to be close to 30 years now since I bought this pipe. It's been with me a really long time. The only marking on it is on the underside of the stem is stamped the word Mexico. So you know this is a top quality pipe. But it smokes great, and I really have enjoyed this pipe over the years. I've got an interesting story around it that I'll tell some other time because I've got something else that I want to talk about. And what I'm smoking this morning, and it is morning by the way, just to let you know how hearty a soul I am smoking the tobacco that I've chosen for September, which is Cornell and Diehl Old Joe Krantz. And yes, I can smoke this first thing in the morning. I don't get affected by nicotine. I don't know what it is, but I can't tell you which blends are high in nicotine or low in nicotine. It just doesn't affect me. Never has. So anyway, I really like Old Joe Krantz. I will talk about this maybe next week. I'll give you some impressions on the tobacco. This is the one that I'm choosing to smoke for the month of September, along with Carter Hall. Trying to just exclusively focus on that and really get to know the tobacco well. Although I've been smoking this for many years, so I already kind of know it well, and it's a great blend. This is actually the second take of this video, and I'm very close to being finished with this bowl, so I may reload in the middle. Second take because my wonderful furnace system kicked on after I was talking for about 5 minutes, and I just didn't feel like trying to edit it out. The reason it comes on, even though it's so hot, is that the furnace also heats the hot water in our house. So if we need hot water, the furnace comes on. It's great, it's very efficient, and we never run out of hot water because of that. So I really like the system. But at the same time, if you're trying to make a video in the basement, it's a bit of a pain. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today mostly is I wanted to do a bit of a video response to a recent video that was done by Drew of the Shed. And if you haven't seen Drew, he's got a really interesting channel. He makes some very nice videos, makes them very regularly. I think he always puts them out on Sundays. And picks a topic each week and talks about it in depth. And I like him. It's a different sort of approach to pipe videos, and he's always got something interesting to say. So you should check him out. I'll link below to the video that I'm referring to here, and I hope you'll go and see his channel because he's an interesting guy. In his last video, he talked about utilitarianism versus luxury. So an object that's designed for utility versus something that's luxurious. And it's a topic that I've thought about a lot, or at least it's part of a topic that I've thought about a lot. And I wanted to talk about this in reference to pipes mostly, so don't panic. But I wanted to talk about it because I think I disagree with Drew on some of what he said, and I think it's an important distinction, because it leads a lot of people to spend money that they probably don't need to spend, to chase things that they probably don't need to chase. But it also leads people to kind of feel guilty sometimes about the things that they buy, and unnecessarily so, because there's a reason to spend more money on certain things. So I know I'm being very vague right now, but I'll put this all into context as we go along. So I think we all have a good sense of what a utilitarian object is. So it's a tool. It's something that is needed to perform a task or to do something. It's in a sense a necessity, but it's a necessity to perform a certain task. And one of the areas where I disagreed with Drew is that he sort of said that you've got either a necessity or a luxury, and I think that that's a false distinction, to be frank. I don't think that that's true. So if everything that wasn't a necessity was a luxury, then there'd only be like a handful of things that you could say were not luxuries. I mean, what are the necessities of life? We've got to breathe, we've got to drink, we've got to eat. There's a few other things I won't go into, but there's a list of basic needs, and beyond that, then everything would be labeled a luxury, and I don't agree with that. I've looked into the definition of luxury for this video, and there's a lot of definitions, or a dime a dozen, but there's sort of two flavors of definition, and one is talking about the state of wealth, the state of comfort and ease, and things like that. And that's a state. That's something that the king lives in a state of luxury, and I get that, and that involves a lot of opulence and richness and so on. But we're not talking about a state of being when we're talking about a pipe. The other definition that I thought was more applicable, and I'm reading this now so I don't get it wrong, is something that is helpful or welcome, but not usually or always available. Okay, so that's what when I say, boy, this pipe is a real luxury. What I mean is that I don't always necessarily have the time or the ability to enjoy a pipe, and I'm taking advantage of that and engaging in a bit of luxury. Now, a lot of people associate luxury and cost, and this is one of the things that Drew talked about. So I'm going to give you two examples here. The first one, I'm going to actually use a non-pipe related example just to kind of make the whole thing a little bit more concrete, and I think this is something that will resonate with a lot of you guys because it's a tool, and we all like tools, and tools are very utilitarian. So this is a block plane. This is actually a Sargent block plane. Sargents were made as early as the 1880s. It was a very old company. Started manufacturing planes in the 1880s. I believe they stopped in the mid-1960s. I think that this plane is from probably the 1950s. This is actually a plane that my dad gave to me. He had it in a box of tools. I'm not actually sure if it was his or if he just got it in this box of tools. But it's a nice block plane, and I tuned it up and I use it, and it works very well. It cuts end grain, which is what I use the block plane for. I also use it to shave bamboo down for making fly rods. That's actually the primary use for it. But for most people, this would be a tool to cut end grain, and it works quite well. Now this block plane, you can't buy this now because it's the company is no longer in existence, and some of these are collector's items and so on and so on. But for me, this was free. I can pick these up secondhand or comparable planes secondhand, usually for between $10 and $20. And you could buy a new plane from a different manufacturer that's very comparable to this for about $30. Okay? So that's a block plane, about $30. This is also a block plane. This is a Lie-Nielsen, in this case a low angle block plane, but that's irrelevant. It's got a few bells and whistles that this one doesn't have, but they're really not important for this discussion. Now this plane costs about $170, give or take, and it cuts end grain, and it also is used to shave bamboo for making fly rods. And it does that job, and it does it well. And this does that job, and it does it well. Does this perform in some way better than this? No, it doesn't. I can do the same job with either of these two planes. This one costs significantly more, $170 versus, let's say, $30. Okay. Is this a luxury? Well, it can't be a luxury. It's a tool. It performs a task, and it performs the same task that this does. It's not something that, to go back to the definition, is not usually or always available, because it can be usually or always available. This is just a different form of something that's usually or always available. Okay, you with me? I promise it's going to get pipe related right now. So if we take that to pipes, this is a rather ancient country gentleman. I've had this for many years now. I've smoked it quite a bit. And at the time that I purchased this, it was probably about $7 or $8, somewhere in that range. And this is a tool that I use to smoke tobacco. Is it a necessity? Absolutely. If I want to smoke tobacco, I need to have a pipe. Now, it's not a necessity to live that I smoke tobacco. I agree with that. But that doesn't make this a luxury. I want to smoke tobacco. Therefore, I need to have a pipe. It's a necessity. And this is a utilitarian object that I use to do that thing that I want to do. If I want to go to work, do I need a car? Is a car a necessity? No, I could walk to work. But I want to get there quickly. I want to get there in a reasonable amount of time. And to do that, a car is a necessity. Is it a luxury? No, it's a tool that I need to use to accomplish the task that I want to do. $7 or $8. All right. This guy that I was smoking at the beginning, and that I'm going to smoke again real soon, was a basket pipe. Probably cost roughly 4 times what this cost. Okay? It's a tool that I use to smoke tobacco. It does exactly the same thing that this does, and it costs 4 times as much. Still not a luxury. It's a tool. It performs a task that I need to do because I want to smoke the tobacco. This is an artisan pipe that I commissioned from a guy named Kirk Fitzgerald, who used to go by or made the Briar Spirit line of pipes. This pipe cost roughly 4 times what this pipe cost. This pipe, while it's quite beautiful, it is a tool that I use to smoke tobacco. It is a purely utilitarian object. It allows me to perform a task that I want to perform, costing 4 times what this one cost. And finally, this is an artisan pipe by a guy named Tim Hynek that is a very nice pipe. It's got a very beautiful deep rustication, nice Cumberland stem. It's got one of these articulated rings that you can play with while you're smoking. You know, just everything you want in a pipe. And this cost approximately twice what this guy cost. So we've got a very wide range of prices here. This pipe is a tool. It's a utilitarian object that I use to do something I want to do, which is smoke tobacco. It's a necessity to perform that task. This necessity costs significantly more than this necessity, but neither one of these are luxuries. They're not luxuries because they're not something that is not usually or always available for me. I could have 20 of these and they would be usually and always available. I could have 20 of these and they would be usually always. I could have 1 of these and it would be usually and always available. So it's not a luxury just because it's expensive. So that raises the question, well then why am I spending 2 times this to get this? And this is the missing quantity that I think explains a lot of problems that we see in our consumer society. The reason I spend more for this plane over this one is not luxury, but quality. The quality of this manufacturing, the fit and feel of this, is superior to the Sargent. There's no question about it. This is a higher quality object. The quality of this basket pipe, as cheap as it is superior to the quality of this corncob pipe. And as we go up in quality, we've got better briar, we've got better craftsmanship, the drilling is better, the stem materials are better. These are changes in the quality of the object, and that's what we're paying for. That's why you would pay $200, $300 for an artisan pipe. Not because it's a luxury, but because it's a higher quality object. Now the problem is, and this is where I think a lot of us go off the rails, we associate that number, that price, with things like a state of luxury or a status. So if you're buying a car, you can buy a very inexpensive car. I'm not going to name any particular manufacturers because if it does the job for you, that's fine. But you can spend relatively reasonable amount of money on a car, or you can start to go up in quality and buy. Again, I don't want to name particular manufacturers, but so something like a BMW or a Mercedes. Okay, and no one would argue that the quality of those cars is not higher than the quality of some of the lower end automobiles, and that's what you're paying for. Then you could say, well, okay, I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce because it must be higher quality. Well, it's not higher quality. It can't be. It's a status symbol at that point. And with pipes, I think there's a lot of status symbols. One of the reasons, and I don't mean to start arguments about this or slam the brand or anything, but Dunhill, I don't own any Dunhill pipes. And one of the reasons for that is that I've never felt that I can justify the cost of those pipes in terms of their quality. They're factory-made pipes. They're good. They're very good, and people that have them love them, and so on. And I have nothing against them, but at the same time, I don't feel that that's the best use of my money. At that point, I think you're really chasing status, because the quality of those pipes is not going to be. It's not going to be better than a Savinelli enough to justify the difference in cost. So at that point, does it become a luxury? No. At that point, it becomes opulent. It becomes chasing status or chasing a symbol or buying something that just makes you feel better. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm not judging anyone. But you're not paying for greater quality at that point. So how do you get luxury in pipe smoking then? What is it that is actually luxury? I don't believe a pipe can ever be a luxury. It's always going to be a tool. It's always going to be a utilitarian object, no matter how much money you pay for it. What is a luxury is if I think to myself, well, I don't want to smoke my pipe any more than once a week, but I want to smoke pipe every day. So I need 7 pipes to do that. Okay. So having 7 pipes would be the bare necessity then. It would be a luxury to have 14 pipes. You don't need them, but you enjoy having them. It's not normally available to you to have that many, so you invest and get more. And you can take advantage of that luxury. The other luxury that we all take advantage of, and that I think we sometimes forget, is the very act itself. The idea that we can take time out of our busy day. And it doesn't take us, this isn't a cigarette. This isn't a quick, I'm just going to run out and have a quick smoke. This is an investment in time when you decide to pack a pipe. Taking that time is a luxury, because a lot of us just don't have it. And that's where I think we're paying for things. So the reason I bring this up, and the reason I feel so strongly about it, is that I don't want, first off, I don't want people that buy these guys because they like them, because they can, and because they enjoy it, to feel in some way guilty that they're, being overly indulgent, or, falling into a trap of luxury or something like that. I don't think that's the case. Also, I don't want the people that enjoy these pipes to feel like they're in any way having less of an experience than they would if they had this. This is a nice quality object that I enjoy and that I get great pleasure from. But at the same time, this is an object that has a reasonable amount of quality that I honestly enjoy more and get more pleasure from than this. And it's got nothing to do with luxury. It's got much more to do with the quality of the time that I spend with them, the quality of the experience, and the quality of the material itself. So, I know I'm rambling a bit here, but as I said, I really do feel strongly about this. I think that misunderstanding this fact, not thinking about quality, but thinking about luxury, is what drives a lot of people to spend money that they may not have, to chase objects that they really won't be in any way fulfilled by, and to just generally chase happiness and never find it. So I'm going to put my soapbox away now. I hope that some of you found that at least a little bit interesting, and I hope that you all get a chance to engage in the luxury of enjoying a pipe this weekend. Beyond that, as you noticed, probably I did not have a Wednesday update this week because I just got back from vacation Tuesday evening and just didn't have time to really do anything on the brandy cob modification. That is, I do plan to have that finished by next Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, you'll see the final video in that series, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think you're going to like what you see in the end. So I will update you on that on Wednesday. Beyond that, I've got a busy day ahead, and I hope you all get to have a nice weekend, spend some time with friends and family, and just enjoy the waning days of summer. So until the next time we talk, I'll ask you all to take care of yourself and be good to one another. And I will look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Goodbye now.